All right, let's start this playthrough. I think it's supposed to be a scary game. It looks scary. It's free on Steam. Go check it out. Dagon, not dragon, but it's like Dagon. All right, let's start it. Whatever.
I am writing
Oh
this under
shit, you're loud.
mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
Hold up. No, not text size this. Holy crap. Dude, that dude like screamed at me. All right. Let's try that out. So,
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
Wait, you jumped out of the window?
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate. When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
Oh, what's this? I'm writing a letter.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Can I move? Oh, we focus again. What happened?
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation, so that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
Oh, no, there was a question mark! I missed it! Can I go back?
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
What about my morphine? Okay, so we're escaping.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings. Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator. Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
I'm in quite the predicament here. Oh, the sun. Okay.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
There's no land. Whoa, what? What happened? This is my water bottle? Is this all the water I have?
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue.
I'm getting cooked by the sun.
The change happened whilst I slept.
Wait, what? Change?
Its details I shall never know. For my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested,
Don't jump scare me.
was continuous.
Oh. Where am I? I feel like I'm back in No Man's Sky. Okay. Any question marks? It's kind of weird. Alright, Squid Boy.
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see, and in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished.
Yeah, I'd say. Look at this place.
For there was in the air and in the rotting soil a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core.
Can you imagine the smell of this?
The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish and of other less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain. Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing, and nothing in sight, save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
Oh boy. Okay. So I guess we move on to the boat. This place is weird. Like the ocean dried up, kind of. Ew. Ugh.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position.
How the heck would I know my position?
Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
Uh-huh. The heck is that over there?
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might. Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Yeah, where's the birds? We still got food, right? Okay, flounder.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens.
Boy. We're about to get cooked
As the
again.
day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time. That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
How the hell are we gonna get rescued out here? Guess we'll find out.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease.
This.
The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Into the sun.
All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
What is that? That doesn't look like it's something that actually exists. What the heck is that? And that. It looks like a bigger one. What are those? Whoa, a whale. Hello. What are these? Let's continue.
That night, I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
Hummock? What the heck's a hummock? Guess we'll find out. Hello? Oh.
By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance.
Yeah, I don't think we're climbing that.
An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface.
Shiny over there.
Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill. I know not why my dreams were so wild that night. But ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more.
Did you sleep
Such
in this?
visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again.
I see the visions.
And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day. Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy.
Yeah?
Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset.
I wonder what we're gonna see up here.
Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Do I have to pick it up?
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine. I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
Wait, where's the ground?
Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost, and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness.
Why didn't I just go around the mountain?
As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined. Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent.
Are you sure? This looks pretty dang slick.
Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
Only a few hundred feet. Alright, I guess here goes nothing. Let's go.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath.
What is that? Is that a building?
Gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me. An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Well, let's go! But check this out. What is this? Wait,
that
what?
It was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself.
Couldn't be. It's like shiny and square.
But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
No.
A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
Oh.
For despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith, whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Does that mean there's a question mark? No, no secrets. Man, I can't find a secret at all. Right. Let's go check this out. Come on. Oh.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm.
I don't like those symbols.
And revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope.
Is this all that's left of the ocean?
Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures. The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books, consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like. Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world,
What's that thing in the middle? He looks freaky.
But whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound. Plainly
No,
visible
I missed the
across
question mark!
intervening water, on account of their enormous size, were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré.
Oh, I can't go back up and get the question marks. Are these mermaids?
I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men.
Yeah, they look like mermaids. I can't look down.
Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto, or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well.
I think that's just a picture of this, right?
Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
Oh.
They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips.
It's them dang ocean aliens.
Bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background.
Really?
For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
I mean, how would you know how big he is?
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Huh.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it.
Wait, what'd I see? Oh, what is that?
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters.
What is that? Can I run now? The camera's shaking. Oh, God!
Like and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith. About which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
Where the hell am I?
I think I went mad then.
Yeah.
Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
I went all the way back to the boat? Wait, where the hell am I? Oh, am I climbing the cliff? Oh, God, that thing scared me! I didn't expect it to be that big.
I believe I sang a great deal.
Oh, there's the
and
well
laughed
again.
Oddly when I was unable to sing.
I am going insane.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat.
Oh, great.
At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
Oh, God.
When I came out
Whoa.
of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital. Brought thither by
Hello?
the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean.
So that was a
In my
dream.
delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Yeah, they'll give me a bunch of crazy pills if I tell them what I just saw. Oh. Any question marks? I've missed every... Oh, look at that. We got one. Wait. Oh, no. I have to read this? I don't want to read this. Alright. Let's get out of here. Hello?
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Dagon! Okay, that's his name. Dagon. No. Okay, I got it. Dagon. The fish god. A sweet little pad. Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient gods of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was a common noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad, I'm sorry for my pronunciations, but it is what it is. Mesopotama? I don't know. It shows him as I can't talk. As the patron saint of their war conquests. He also appeared as the judge of the dead in the Assyrian poem and an underworld prison warder in one of the Babylon texts. He's often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name, as in Hebrew the word dag means fish. In Lovecraft's work, Dagon is underwater deity ruling over the deep ocean, or deep ones, not oceans, a humanoid race with fish traits that resides in the ocean. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of the Dagon. Esoteric? Whatever that is. So, what did we see? Did we see one of these dudes, or did we see like something else? It didn't look like the one of the freaking things on the rock. It didn't look like that. All right, let's move on. It was massive, though.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
Okay, I'm gonna skip all of the question mark things, because if you guys want to read that stuff, you guys can play through it. I don't want to read through that. Okay, what are we looking at here? Hello? Oh, can I leave now?
It is at night,
Oh, we're
especially
back.
when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing.
Maybe it's all the morphine I'm
I
taking.
tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave.
Wait, am I taking the morphine to see it again?
So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Okay.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm, a mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed. worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own
what is
detestable
that?
likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal
Whoa.
pandemonium.
Uh-oh. Goodbye, New York.
The
Oh, we're
end
back.
is near.
Oh, no way.
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Uh-oh. Hello?
It shall not find me.
No one's in here.
God, that hand! The window! The window!
Get me out of here! The window! Jump! I may have taken too much morphine. Thank you for playing. We hope you enjoyed them. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a fun little game. Oh, they got DLC. I might have to play through some of those. Alright, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you did so. And I'll see you next time.